In this demo, we're going to show you how you can actually protect an Entra ID user from a phishing attack you can carry out with Evilginx simply by enabling phishing-resistant MFA. And we're going to use conditional access again to enable this behavior. So last time with our test user Grace Hopper, we required weak MFA, which is really just any old MFA method was fine, and we showed that even using the Microsoft Authenticator app, she was able to get phished. So we have a different policy here that we're going to turn on. It's going to be the same user, Grace, but in this case, we're going to require phishing-resistant MFA, which is basically a FIDO2 security key, and not just regular MFA. Okay, so let's turn this on and see what happens. Now we can see that that policy has been turned on. And before we actually carry out the attack with Evilginx, let's actually see what is supposed to happen when Grace signs in with this new policy turned on. So this is Grace's workstation for work. You can see that in her Entra profile, she's got a variety of different authentication methods turned on. She's got her Microsoft Authenticator, TOTP, but she's also registered a security key, a FIDO2 security key, which is actually the HYPR app, which means she's registered a HYPR Enterprise Passkey. And so this is what she's going to use to do the FIDO authentication. So to simulate or to test that this is working, we're going to open up a private window and have her sign in to the same site. Type in her password or her username. And then we'll type her password. She'll type her password. And at this point, instead of having all the other MFA options that we maybe had before, she's only able to pick the phishing-resistant options. So she does have a user certificate enrolled, so that's why she has this option, but she also can do a FIDO2 security key or biometric. So if she clicks on this and chooses the security key option, which then prompts her to insert her security key. And what that really means for her is she's going to open up the HYPR app and wait for the prompt. And there it is. She accepts, does the biometric, and we are back to that same page. So this is the experience that Grace would expect to have if everything was working and the FIDO2 security key is working. Notice that through that whole process, the domain was correct. She wasn't at the phishing site. So this is what it's supposed to be like. Okay, let's see what the attack will look like instead. So we have Evilginx just as before. We've got the Microsoft 365 Fishlet active. We have Allure as well. And if we get the URL for that lure. Now this is simulating Grace getting a phishing email with a link. She thinks it's actually the real site, but it's not. And notice that it's not the actual domain, right? Just like last time. So also notice that Evilginx has detected that that the visitor, in this case Grace, has arrived. So now she's thinking she's at a legitimate site. She's going to enter her email address, her username. She may even enter her password. And Evilginx does capture her password in this case. But because we have the phishing-resistant MFA, she's still met with the same prompt where she has to use one of the phishing-resistant options. If she thinks, okay, I'm going to continue and choose my FIDO2 security key, my enterprise passkey, it just stops, right? It could be a couple different behaviors here, but this is basically what ends up happening. She never actually completes the sign-in process. Now, this user may be confused as to what's going on, but at least they didn't get phished. If we look over here at the Evilginx side, we look at the sessions. Look at the last session, you can see that no session cookies were captured like they were the last time. So this is how you can protect a user in Entra ID with a phishing-resistant MFA-enabled in conditional access in Entra using a security key like the HYPR Enterprise Passkey.